Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to World of Warships with Rear Admiral Jingles. Today's battle features Shifty here in the British Tier 10 battleship HMS Incomparable, although in truth it's really more of an extremely large and seriously upgunned light cruiser. And Shifty's HMS Incomparable is captained by none other than...
Hands to action stations.
That's right, the sexy tones of star of stage, screen and dockyard canteen. It is none other than me, myself. This man has excellent taste. So, a tier 10 battle, although with a tier 8 to 10 matchmaking spread, here on the Arctic map. And one member of the team is already complaining about the matchmaking. Now that's the captain of the friendly Iparanga. And at face value, yeah, tier 8 battleship in a tier 10 battle with 4 destroyers on each team, 3 of which are tier 10, 1 of which is tier 9. Yeah, you can kind of appreciate his concerns about the matchmaking. But in actual fact, it is significantly worse for the other team. This is apparently his first battle in the Iparanga, and naturally the game throws him into a tier 10 battle, but he's not exactly making life easy for himself, as one of the teammates is inquiring, you have spec'd for secondaries, right? Which his answer is nope. Oops. Oh well, never mind. But even so, he's going to find things to be significantly easier than the battleships on the enemy team, even the tier 8s, because once again the World of Warships matchmaker has managed to make this battle as lopsided as it possibly can, while sticking to the spirit of the rules and ensuring that both teams have 5 battleships, 3 cruisers and 4 destroyers, because Shifty's team have all of the radar in this battle. The Stalingrad has radar, the USS Tulsa, the cruiser, has radar, and the USS Constellation, the other tier 8 battleship next to the Iparanga on Shifty's team, also has radar. Now, the enemy team do have a Tier 9 US Navy cruiser, the USS San Diego, but it's almost the only American cruiser above Tier 7 that doesn't come with radar. So the enemy team have none, which means the battleships on Shifty's team, the Iparanga included, have very little to worry about from the enemy destroyers. The same cannot be said of the battleships and cruisers on the enemy team. Although, if you cast your eye to the mini-map and have a look over at the western cap circle at Alpha, which has just been flipped by the enemy team despite the presence of a friendly Shimakaze, who is by far the stealthiest ship in this entire battle and has no radar to worry about, but he was steadfastly refusing to go anywhere near that cap circle, probably because his torpedoes have a 20-kilometer range, so why does he need to go any closer than that? Yes, my favourite kind of Shimakaze player. The enemy team don't have an awful lot to worry about, at least where he's concerned. Anyway, Shifty's ship, HMS Incomparable. I wasn't joking when I said this was basically an extremely large and stupidly upgunned light cruiser. I'm sure you all know how the Musashi and the Yamato, who are both represented in game, had the largest guns ever mounted on a battleship. They were 18.1-inch guns. The Incomparable's guns 20-inch. Now it only has 6 of them, but because it's a battle cruiser, they are seriously accurate. Also, it doesn't have no 30-second reload either. It's kind of like the opposite of the USS Vermont, which has 18-inch guns, but it has exactly twice as many of them, but with a 40-second reload. The reload on the Incomparable, by default, is 28 seconds. Although, as you can see with the various different commander skills and equipment loadouts, Shifty's got it down to 24. So unlike other battleships that are only armed with 6 main battery guns, lies now, when the Incomparable fires, it tends to hit, and it fires often, and when it does, it spanks. First blood there, by the way, to the enemy Napoli, sinking the friendly Jarsfeld. The Napoli is easily going to be the enemy team's MVP. And while that Napoli definitely plays well, and I don't want to belittle the result that he's going to achieve at the end of this battle, I feel like I'm compelled to say that, let's just say his chances weren't hurt by the fact that over there on the western flank, around Cap Circle Alpha, the only substantial threat to his dominance was a Shimakaze, who appears to have a phobia of getting within torpedo range of anything. and who, despite being the stealthiest ship in the game with no radar on the enemy team, doesn't like going anywhere near cap circles until a friendly battleship turns up and heads in there in order to make sure that things are safe for him.
Attention. Reporting the target.
Yeah, the salt is strong today. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I hate Shimakaze players like that. Later on, he's going to have the balls to complain about his torpedoes. Well, don't use the 20-kilometer noob tubes then. Oh, no, winds me up. Anyway, back to Shifty. There's his first strike and his first kill. And a very useful kill, taking out the enemy Laffy, the Tier 10 destroyer, giving the Shimakaze even less reason to be afraid of going into the cap circle. Oh, he was in the cap circle. And he's on his way out again. He's waiting for the Iparanga to go in there in order to ensure that everything's safe for him, because of course he is. You see that high-speed smoke screen chug-a-lane to the south through Alpha? That's what's scaring the Shimakaze off. And to be fair, that Napoli, you can tell that he knows what he's doing. That's him shooting. And he's undetected, so he understands the limitations of his smoke firing penalty. You got to hand it to him. Meanwhile, Shifty's asking for radar, and the friendly constellation obliges, which was excellent timing because it's just revealed the location of 2 of the 3 remaining enemy destroyers, although Shifty isn't paying any attention because he's waiting to get shots out at the Napoli, who was turned, which must mean, yep, there are torpedoes being launched into that extremely unfortunate Iparanga. Well, I say Shifty wasn't paying attention. He was, he just wasn't looking at the 2 spotted enemy destroyers. He was waiting to try to get shots off against the Napoli. The radar's expired. Oh, you don't want to be getting broadside like that at 620H guns, Monarch. That will not end well for you. And there's kill number 2. Yeah. Triple Citadel, 4 hits, 54,000 damage from a single salvo. The Iparanga has unfortunately succumbed, which puts the Shimakaze in a tough spot as the only ship still inside the cap circle over at Alpha. To be fair to him, he's not bottling it and running out, but that Napoli is just on the other side of the island to the north of the cap circle. And based on the Napoli's performance thus far, I'm going to take a brief stab at predicting the future. He's going to reappear. In fact, he has just reappeared. He's going to re-enter that cap circle, and the Shimakaze, despite out-stealthing him by several dozen clear country miles and also being armed with 15 torpedoes, he's going to run away. Keep an eye on the minimap and let me know how that works out. Anyway, Shifty, who seems to have something of a knack for these things, is requesting radar. The friendly Tulsa obliges this time, right after catching the enemy Regular with its pants down and getting the kill there. And that reveals the location of the enemy Yugamo, just to the north of the island, right there, as Shifty unleashes a salvo with 20-inch armor piercing against the enemy Dyson. Another extremely well-timed radar request, and again, well done to his teammates for actually listening and providing the radar coverage, because that's not only left the Yugamo exposed in open water right in front of an American light cruiser, but it's also let everybody know where they need to lurk to remain safe from the Yugamo's torpedoes. As Shifty here kills the engines in order to keep that island between himself and any potential torpedo threat while he unloads at the enemy North Carolina. Sure enough, the Shimakaze's been chased out of the cap circle by the Napoli while complaining about his torpedoes. Might I suggest not using the 20-kilometer noob tubes? You know, the ones that can be spotted from low Earth orbit by the International Space Station? Just making suggestions. Obvious Yugamo torpedoes are extremely obvious. Unfortunately, the Tulsa does appear to be having some problems. Actually, so is Shifty. I never talked about the armour on this thing, did I? I wasn't joking when I said it was just an extremely big light cruiser. Its bows are only 25mm thick. It does have 51mm decks, but the superstructure only has 19mm, and the armour belts are atrociously bad. The only good thing is the 51mm deck, which does allow it to shrug off some light caliber high explosive, but basically any time this thing gets shot at, it can expect to take large amounts of damage. And I'm fine with that, because it can dish out large amounts of damage. This is a ship that can dish it out, but it cannot take it. Oh, that should have been a kill. That's alright. It's got a fast reload. In fact, if he keeps reversing and turning, he should get the rear turret firing. And this should be a kill. And they're going to need a kill because the Dyson has just taken out the Tulsa. And the Yugamo's still alive. That's unfortunate. I mean, it's fine for Shifty. He's still got the armor between him and any torpedoes. There goes the Massachusetts. This battle could still go either way. The enemy team did have a cap advantage, but Shifty's team are now contesting both of the enemy held caps, as well as having a slim kill and points advantage. And you know what? Maybe I should stop shitting on that Shimakaze, because he has gone back into the cap circle at Alpha. Right as Shifty unloads another full salvo at the enemy North Carolina, the friendly gearing over there claims another enemy destroyer kill, and while Shifty doesn't get an instant kill on the North Carolina, it leaves a couple of holes that are probably not going to polish out anytime soon. Now remember, there is a Yugamo over here somewhere, so Shifty is going to have to be cautious. In fact, there's the Yugamo, who is not being cautious. And of course, as a battlecruiser, in fact some of the British battleships have them too, the Incomparable comes with torpedoes. Torpedoes that have a faster reload, better firing angles, and more damage per torpedo than a lot of destroyers. And because they've been launched into a smokescreen, unless somebody's running hydro, nobody's going to see them coming. That's what we call foreshadowing. There goes the Yugamo. That's right, a Japanese torpedo destroyer sunk by battleship-launched torpedoes. Hang your head in shame. So there's Devastating Strike, high caliber, Confederate on the Yugamo, the kill and Kraken Unleashed on the Dyson. Unfortunately, the kill on the Dyson arrived just a fraction of a second too late after the kill on the Yugamo to qualify for a double strike. Honestly, I reckon Shifty was robbed there. And here comes that pesky Napoli again, chasing the Shimakaze out of the cap circle for what must be at least the third time. Oh, and he didn't like that very much. There's only 2 enemy ships remaining. Well, there's now only 1 enemy ship remaining. The North Carolina was up to the northeast being pursued by basically everything else. That just leaves the Napoli. And he's given up trying to chase down the Shimakaze. Instead, he's going for Shifty. Shifty just said in chat after getting the Kraken Unleashed, this ship is so broken. I'm inclined to agree with a teammate who replied by saying, I find it to be all feast or famine. Now it's certainly true that in this battle at least, Shifty is experiencing the feast and not the famine. But that's only true because until now, nobody's really shot at him. And despite that, the ship is so thinly armoured he's already lost almost half of his health. And that's before getting into a stand-up fight, his only real stand-up fight so far in this battle with the enemy cruiser. Good torpedo prediction there, but the Incomparable really does not enjoy getting shot at. I mean, I'm sure the Napoli isn't enjoying getting shot at either, and yes, he is going to dodge those Shimakaze torpedoes. And you'd think this would be a kill, and it probably should have been. Watch as Shifty reaches down, grabs his ankles and prepares to kiss his ass goodbye. And he's probably contemplating going for the ram here, which, you know, would have worked, but, well, he's got the torpedoes on the other side too. And, yeah. And look at his health. Don't get me wrong, the Incomparable is a great ship. It can dish it out, but it cannot take it. Ignore an Incomparable at your peril. And if you do, don't complain when it does incomparable things. Just like Shifty here in this Tier 10 domination battle on the Arctic map, with 267,000 damage done, and 6 kills to go with a whole chest full of medals. Commiserations to the Napoli, but thanks to the matchmaker giving Shifty's team 3 radar and the enemy team none, the odds were stacked against the enemy team in this battle right from the beginning. Although they didn't do themselves any favours by ignoring the Incomparable until it was way too late. So Shifty enjoying the enemy team's lack of attention there and getting himself 6 kills as a result. Well done. Hope you all enjoyed it. And as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.